Hey everybody, welcome to the brand and brave new world of online learning. So we started this PowerPoint on tools of the trade the week before spring break, but we never finished it. So I wanted to go ahead and finish it up. And we will go ahead and start with the hand tools and take another look at those. This particular tool is called a round point shovel. So this shovel is going to be a great shovel for digging a hole. It's going to be a great shovel for shoveling really anything, soil or sand or gravel, into and out of wheelbarrows. But it's probably not the best shovel for digging a plant balled in burlap. So as far as how much round point shovels cost, back in 2012, A.M. Leonard had a price of $61.99. Okay, this is called a trenching shovel, and really its sole job is to dig you a trench. So the width of the trench that it's going to dig will be equal to the width of the blade, and the depth of the trench is just a function of how much you want to work. So this particular shovel is great if you need to trench in a small amount of irrigation line, or if you're putting an edge on a bed and maybe you're using concrete pavers or something like that, bullet edgers. This would be the kind of shovel that you would want to use to dig the trench to install those bullet edgers. All right, as far as prices go, about $36 will buy you a trenching shovel. Okay, this hand tool is called a garden spade, or simply a spade. And when you look at it, you can tell right off the bat that it's different than a round point shovel. For one, this spade has a flat edge on the front of the blade, and that makes this particular tool really great for digging plant material. So if you have a plant and you want to dig it B&B and move it to a different place in your yard, this is probably the tool that you would want to use to do that. So you can sharpen the front of that blade with a file, with a rotary tool, with a bench grinder, or whatever kind of sharpening materials you have. But if you keep the blade really sharp, it'll cut through the roots of the plants much better and be a lot easier to use. Now you can dig a hole with this type of shovel as well, although for general hole digging I think I would prefer a round point shovel. All right, garden spade prices. There you go, about $70. All right, this is basically a beefed up version of a garden spade. This is an all steel spade. So this particular spade is welded together, and really it'll do everything the garden spade will do, except that it's just going to last a lot longer. It's going to be a lot more durable. And I've had a spade like this for 30 plus years and I'm still using it. So I sharpen the blade with a file or with my Dremel tool, and it's great for digging plants balled in burlap, moving them around in the yard. Great tool for that. It's going to be more expensive than the first garden spade that we looked at. Okay, so here's some information on prices for the all steel spades. So back in 2012 they were running about $95, and I'm sure today in 2020 they'll probably be over $100 for an all steel spade. Okay, this tool is called a scoop shovel, and basically two variations on this. It comes either as an aluminum scoop shovel, which will be a little more expensive, or a plastic scoop shovel, which is going to be a little less expensive. So this type of shovel is really good if you have materials like soil or sand or gravel or a little bit of mulch that has fallen onto a flat surface and you want to scoop it up and move it. This is a great tool for that. You can also use it as a big dustpan, like when you're cleaning up and if you sweep everything into a pile, you can kind of hold your broom and hold the scoop shovel and then just use the scoop shovel as a giant dustpan for sweeping up that leftover debris. It's not going to be a great tool for removing things from grass. It works better when you're trying to remove things from flat surfaces. All right, and here's some price information on scoop shovels. The aluminum scoop shovels are going to run you somewhere around $60 for a decent one. All right, this tool is called a bow rake. And a bow rake has that bow that you see just below the handle. So this kind of rake is good for grading. So if you have some soil that needs to be graded, this is a good tool to use. If you have gravel or sand that needs to be graded and spread around, this would be a good tool for that. This is not a good tool for trying to remove debris, soil, mulch from grass. It just doesn't work very well in grass. It works better in soil, in sand, gravel, those types of things. So pricing on a 16.5-inch bow rake, that is going to run you about $44. Okay, this is called a straight rake, and it's very similar to a bow rake. Really the major difference is these are just going to come in wider widths, so you're going to be able to buy this rake in very wide widths, and really you're going to use it for the same things you would use a bow rake. It's going to be used for grading soil, is going to be used for spreading sand or gravel or spreading soil around. It's not going to be very useful for removing things from grassy surfaces. All right, so prices on a straight rake are obviously going to depend on the width of the rake. So an 18-inch rake might run you around $46. A 24-inch rake, $49. This is a very wide straight rake. This is the kind of rake that you might see on a golf course in a sand trap, something that you would use for leveling the sand back out after you made a shot from a sand trap. So this aluminum straight rake that was just pictured, 24-inch rake for about $49, a 30-inch rake for $53, a 36-inch wide rake for $58. Aluminum straight rake. Okay, this tool is called a spring rake, named for the little spring that you see where the blade of the rake attaches to the fan part of the rake. So this rake is the kind of rake that you would want to use for getting debris out of grassy surfaces. So this is not the kind of rake that you would want to use for grading or spreading. But if you have leaves, if you have mulch, if you have soil that have fallen into a grassy area and you're trying to clean that up, this is the kind of rake that's going to do the job for you. So spring rakes, pricing on those. For an 18-inch spring rake, about $19. Almost $20 for the 24-inch wide spring rake. Okay, this rake is called a poly leaf rake or lawn rake. So what makes it different from the spring rake that we looked at previously is simply that the teeth of this particular rake are made out of plastic, where with the spring rake that we saw earlier, the teeth of that rake are made out of steel. So this is basically just a cheaper version of a spring rake, and this kind of rake is pretty much for getting leaves out of your lawn, or maybe raking up a little bit of soil or spilled mulch or something like that. So the poly lawn rake, they're going to be inexpensive, $14 for an 18-inch wide rake. $15 for the 24-inch wide model. And $17 for the 30-inch wide model. Okay, these are called cultivators, and you can see that there's really two different types. The one on top has a handle. The one on the bottom is just got a grip. So the one on top is something that you would use for cultivating plants in a garden. So by cultivation, we mean you're going to be using this tool around a plant, carefully loosening the soil around the plant, trying to get better air and water infiltration into that soil. You can stand up and do that with the model pictured in the top picture because it has a long handle. The one on the bottom, however, is just got a grip, so you're going to be on your hands and knees cultivating around plants using the model shown in the lower picture. So cultivators, if you buy the handle type, those are going to be about $40. The handheld version with the grip, around $8. This is called a trowel, and this type of tool is used for planting bulbs, possibly. This tool could also be used for planting annual plants that come in cell packs, or possibly for planting smaller perennials that may be in the 4-inch size container up to a number 1 or 1-gallon container. So this is called a trowel. This particular model has a scale that's kind of built into the blade, so you can get an idea of how deep you're digging with this particular trowel. Okay, A.M. Leonard price back in 2012 was $8 for that hand trowel. This particular tool is called a scoop fork. So it has a handle, and really the main thing that you're going to use this particular tool for is mulch. So it's the kind of tool that you could use to take mulch out of a wheelbarrow and spread mulch. Could also be used for things like straw and hay, moving those types of materials. But it's got a pretty exclusive job function, mostly in our business for moving mulch. So scoop forks, kind of on the pricey side, as you can see, about $99 back in 2012. All right, congratulations, you have reached the end of part 1.